or albums, and at least they have it separated where you can like click. But the last, like here it is, 200 to 161. So like 200, Travis Scott, Astroworld. Fair in the top 200 as 200th. If we're talking about from the
I know you're about to get into it, but we are already rolling.
Oh yeah, shit.
So hey, welcome. I just threw him off with that. So welcome to the Middle Ground Podcast. You got me, your boy HL. We got my co-host right here. Say your name.
What's up? I'm Alec.
Alec is in the building. So we are going to do this thing, man. I know you're probably thinking like, oh gosh, more men with microphones for a podcast. But we're different. You'll find out how. We'll tell you how over some time. You know, we are from two different sets of lives here, but we have had a lot of dope experiences and we got a lot of good insight. And I feel like we think about things a lot differently than most people. So with that being said, we like to talk our shit and we said we was going to do it on a podcast. So why not? Because social media is just not enough for me. So fuck it.
Not enough.
So here we are. So you guys kind of came into the middle of the conversation
just
a little bit.
Mid-rant, yeah.
Just a little bit. So I don't know if you guys seen this. Obviously, clearly he's seen it. He's highly upset. He's highly upset. So what is going on is Rolling Stone magazine has come out with a top 200 hip hop albums of all time.
Since the beginning of all time.
Yeah, and he is pretty upset about it. So I got my couple of questions. I got my couple of things, but I'm going to go ahead and let you seem like he had a lot more to say about this, y'all. Y'all going to find out.
I just think, so like I said, so if you go, and there's 200 of them, so I didn't go through all 200. I'm just going to be honest. But I looked at the bottom and the top. 200, the 200th best of all time, Travis Scott, Astroworld. So without any reference, before I could check in what top one is, I'm like, okay, cool, fair enough. If I just scroll down, next one though, you got Juice WRLD, KMD, Freddie Gibbs, okay, but then we got the Jacka Tear Gas is 196. I'm gonna be honest, I like to consider myself a pretty good hip hop aficionado. I have no idea who that is. And it's a Bay Area guy, which there's not a ton of Bay Area. Andre Nicotina I fuck with, Mac Dre, Mac Mall. But outside of that, I was not a Bay Area guy. But to put that above the Jacka Tear Gas is above Freddie Gibbs or Juice WRLD. I mean, I didn't really fuck with Juice WRLD, and I still think he's better.
I don't feel like Juice WRLD should be on any list, but that's just me.
Other than the thing with Juice WRLD is I don't listen to his albums, but I saw him especially on, and I can't remember, it might have been Westwood or one of the hip hop podcasts where he had his freestyles, and his freestyles were amazing. And as a hip hop head, I wish he would have had more of that rap style instead of the sad emo singing stuff.
Oh yeah, the crybaby shit.
I'm
sorry, sad boy.
Exactly. And like Kanan on here, Kanan, the Dusty Foot Philosopher, that's 194. That's a great album, way better than a lot of these. And Kanan is not talked about anymore. I don't think he's put anything out real recently, but another great album. Now, my biggest beef though.
Yeah, let's go. We got to go higher up this list.
Is the top. So number one is Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die. I'm with it. Okay, there's a bigger conversation to be had about what is number one because that's a tough one.
You know what's funny? So I was looking at this list. When I saw Biggie as number one, I found something very interesting. Nowhere in the top 10 is Tupac.
That's, again,
I found that to be very interesting because for years and years and years, you always seen like basically the same kind of top three.
100%.
Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z would be thrown in there.
And they're always 1 and 2.
And they're always in that same thing. The fact that Tupac was not even in this list, I found it to be kind of interesting. But I mean, at the same time though, people got to understand this. As time goes on, more artists come out, more albums come out. Those albums are gonna start to shift and move on the list. I mean, let's just be real. It's gonna come to a point where these top albums may not always be the top album. Somebody else may come along and have a top album. Just like at one point there was somebody sitting in this place.
I mean, I would agree with you, but these are supposed to be the most prolific and best albums of all time. So like of all time, even though taste change is supposed to be of all time. And the other thing that I have beef with, which is a side note, maybe Rolling Stone has changed, but when I grew up, even as a white kid here in suburbia, I fell in love with hip hop. Kronk 2001 changed literally the trajectory of my life. I'm not even kidding. And I've read The Source and Double XL. Those were the two magazines that I read. Those were the ones that had validity. I would go and check how many mics somebody knew up-and-coming artists saw. Rolling Stone didn't fuck with hip-hop at all. Like, Rolling Stone they saw, like, oh, it's getting bigger.
They did reviews. They would do reviews. I knew they would do reviews on them, and they would do, like, They would do more, like, critics kind of, like, list. Where it's, like, it's not the same. I feel like hip-hop critics are different from just a regular music critic. That's just me personally. I feel like you got to know a little bit more sometimes than just be, like, your average, like, music person when it comes to hip-hop.
100%. Hip-hop's different, though, because you're not going to listen to a country album, and you're not going to have a discussion on whether the beat on Garth Brooks' song was doper or the lyrics on Toby Keith's song was doper. Like, whereas hip-hop, you've got the poetry in it, which is the first thing that got me. You know, the similes, the metaphors, the complexity of all the language that's in there on top of a beat. Okay, so you've got those two going, not to mention that it's a story told. So from my perspective, I'm a white kid in suburbia that loved to get into trouble, which is another podcast altogether. But I know
we will have more.
Yeah, I didn't have that perspective. I mean, when you listen to, you know, Brenda's Got a Baby by Tupac, for example, that's a story. That is someone's perspective from what you want to call it, the hood, but again, not where I come from. And so it was me taking a step into some other person's life, and I could see that story. When you listen to Frank Sinatra or Toby Keith or, you know, Katy Perry, they're not taking me anywhere else. I'm not able to take an empathetic look at somebody else's life and really understand what's going on. I also was like an outcast, so I always considered myself the black sheep. The outcast was misunderstood.
Well, Katy Perry did say, "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?"
That's true. But I just like that hip hop, especially when you and I were growing up. Now, kids today, hip hop's the most popular music in the world. A 21-year-old girl just sent me Big Moochie Grapes album, and she told me what her favorite song was. When I was 21, girls were not listening to that shit, and like not at all. And so when we were coming up, hip hop was still kind of on the fringe, and so I identified with that.
So I gotta ask you then. So what is your what would you say is your biggest beef? Because I got a couple questions with the top. I mean, I know the whole list, but just like the top 10. We just want to wire it down to the top 10. So what's your biggest beef with that top 10?
Biggest beef is what you mentioned. Tupac's not even in the top 10.
Okay.
Outkast was number 2. Stankonia. Again, I won Outkast. It's a really good album, but so is Aquemini. Yeah. So is ATLiens.
I think all those are on the list, though.
They're on the list, but I would put ATLiens above Stankonia.
Ooh.
Or, I mean, those are all so good. Aquemini, even again, that's hard. It's a hard discussion. Number 3 was Jay-Z. My biggest beef in The Blueprint, which is a great album. Nas isn't even in the top 5.
Which is weird.
Nas and Tupac not being in the top 5 of greatest hip hop albums of all time is atrocious.
Okay, now I will say, I have to say this. I'm going to say this. People are going to be mad at me for it, probably because I've always questioned this and I've always hated it. Why is Lauryn Hill in the top 10? And I'm going to tell you why I have a problem with that. Because Lauryn Hill, I don't give a fuck what nobody says. She is not a rapper. She is a singer who just so happens to rap well. That's not the same thing. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Brown, though?
Hold on, but he's not on this list.
That's true. Fair enough.
Chris, and that's what I was gonna say. The miseducation of, but also the album itself. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill is not a hip hop album.
It's a great album.
God damn it, it's an R&B album. Yes, it's an amazing fucking album. Don't get me wrong. I can name you hit after hit after hit off of it. That is an R&B album, people. I really wish that y'all would stop putting her in this hip hop category. Oh, she's a female rapper. No, she wasn't. Well, she was never a rapper. She didn't even know how to rap when she was with the Fugees. When she first got with the Fugees, she didn't even know how to rap. Truth be told, Wyclef and Pras taught her how to rap. And that's how she started rapping over time. But she was never a rapper to begin with. She was always a singer. And that's why it always bothers me that they put her on lists like this.
I think
and people say...
I just think she was with the Fugees, which is probably why she gets associated with that hip hop. But you're right.
But you can't be put in a top 10 list with your name saying Lauryn Hill. Now, if it was a Fugees album
in
the top 10, then I'd be like, Okay, exactly. But putting the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, if you go and I want everybody to go listen to the album. Just skim it. You can throw it up on your streaming real quick. Go listen to the album and tell me where the hip hop is. Because it's not hip hop, and I have a big problem with that now.
I wasn't even mad at that part either. I didn't even notice that. She was 10 too. I think it was 10, and it's a great album that I love.
And that's why I feel like
right.
a lot of people give her like leeway with that. I feel like people give her way too much leeway with that because it was a good album. And I get that. It was a fantastic album. But also, I feel like that y'all give her a little bit too much credit for that one good album. Because name me another one.
No, yeah, that's true.
Name me another Lauryn Hill album that you really enjoyed. I'll wait.
I have a side high thought that has to do with Lauryn Hill, though. If we're not considering Lauryn Hill hip-hop, do you consider Post Malone hip-hop? I was thinking about that the other day. I listened to his new album, and I like it, but I'm like, this isn't rap.
Thank you, and I'm so glad you brought that up. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. I like the songs. I even fuck with White Iverson. I can't lie, but it's not rap.
His first album, Stoney, yes, that is a hip-hop album.
Okay.
If you go and listen to it, it's his style of hip-hop, but that's his style. I mean, I can't hate on your style,
right?
But it was a hip-hop album. I feel like over time, he started doing more of his like alternative stuff, playing instruments. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with that. But like you said, I did just go and listen to his newest album, and I definitely can see that he is reducing the hip hop and turning up everything else. Because most of those songs, I'm gonna be honest with you, there was only like 2 hip hop songs on there. There was the one with Doja Cat and the one with Roddy Ricch. The rest of them were pretty much kind of like, they kind of sounded like, you know, like, I don't know, alternative songs.
It's like
or
if an alternative song and an R&B song fucked and had a kid. Because he still has, I don't know if you're gonna call it soul or what, but there's something intrinsically R&B-ish with it, but it's not hip hop and it's not R&B. It's not rock.
It gave me more 90s. It gave me more 90s alternative is what he sounds like in this new album. Right. A lot of the songs gave me like 90s alternative. You go listen to 90s alternative music, that's what it sounded like to me.
That's what I listened to before Chronic 2001, by the way.
And that's totally okay. That stuff is fine. But what I'm saying is that he definitely is getting away from the hip hop. But I notice how he's still holding on to it.
Yep.
He's still trying to like, and that's the thing that kind of bothers me sometimes.
I also think though in today's musical climate, I think there's a lot of genreless music out there. Like I think you and I grew up in genre specific music, you know what I mean? Hip hop was its own thing, R&B was its own thing, rock was its own thing, and now we have hip hop. Now there's mumble rap. Now there's drill. Now there's all this emo. There's all this stuff, and it's like,
and I like that.
I
appreciate that.
I freaked out at first, like 2016 when Kodak and all them were on there. I was like, hip hop's dead, and now
I never thought that. I hated when people were saying that because I was like, why? I'm like, just because I feel like everything is gonna progress, everything is gonna change, and you cannot be stuck in this one element. But something very interesting. So I was watching. There's this thing called Hip Hop Legends that came on TV, and they're doing like different, legendary rap artists and talking about certain things that happened in their careers and things like that. And they did one on Busta Rhymes.
So good.
Right. So
good. Why wasn't he in the top 10?
Exactly. And I don't feel like he gets the credit that he should. But one of the things that he mentioned, and this is why it hit me in my head, I was like, he said that back in the day when you wanted to be on, like if you wanted to get on, like with hip hop, you had to battle.
100%.
You had to go at somebody. You had to like fight for that. It wasn't just like, you had to freestyle. You had to know how to do all of that stuff. And as I was watching and listening to it, I was like, damn. Because you notice how all people always say, oh, these old rappers, they always talking about you can't freestyle and you can't do this and you're not a rapper. But that's the mentality that they come from. You got to understand, they came from that era where they had to prove that they could rap. They had to prove that, like, I can rap, let me show you. Versus now, anybody can pick up a mic and start rapping. So I hear what people are saying about, like, just let people do their thing. I feel like there can be good rappers that don't know how to freestyle well.
No, 100%.
But I also feel like some of the older rappers need to let go of this mindset of, because like you can't freestyle, or you can't battle or whatever, like you can't rap. But at the same time, I get what they're coming from because they come from that era. They come from that school
When hip hop's weird, I don't think hip hop likes change very much either because like I just saw another clip and it was Rakim, who I can say at 35 he's old school to me. He's in the 80s, right? But he's a legend, right?
He's
but
definitely old school.
He even said that when freestyles first started, it wasn't necessarily off the top, right? So like off the top freestyle is one thing where they're just making up like what Eminem does, right? But what Rakim said was that freestyle used to just be a freestyle rhyme. So there was no chorus, it was just you going. And it might be written. He might have had stuff written in his head and you kind of just memorize it. And like you said, back in that day, you had to just be ready at all times. The beef that I have with hip hop as a whole is that and you and I have talked about this previously, but they don't embrace the legends. So like if you have a 12-year-old right now who listens to rock, right? Okay. He might like some new rock bands that are out, but he's also going to throw on Led Zeppelin. He's also going to throw on The Doors. He's going to throw on older rock songs and have respect for him. He's not going to call them old, washed up. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to throw on Zeppelin, da-da-da. You're not going to have too many 12-year-olds that are listening to hip-hop that are going to throw on a Rakim, a Run DMC, a Tupac, a Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. Like, again, the guys that we grew up with, Nori and all these people, it's like Big L. A lot of these guys don't even know who they are. And it's like, you've got references, Tupac references Biggie and Tupac in a couple of his album covers, and yet half of his fans probably couldn't name a single song. So it's like, that's the aspect of hip hop that I don't like. And the fact that Busta Rhymes, Tupac, and Nas are not in the top 10 of Rolling Stones.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't see, and I'm gonna say this, and I know people are probably gonna look at me weird for it, but I really feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I think Nicki should have been in that top 10 somewhere.
I'd say Nicki top 20.
She should have took Lauryn Hill's. She should have at least took Lauryn Hill's place.
I'll give you 10. I'll give you that. If Lauryn Hill is going to be in there, then Nicki should be in there too. Because Nicki made a huge impact. I'm going to tell you why.
Right, exactly. People are not trying to give Nicki her props for what she did for female hip hop. See, you can sit there and say, oh, all these other guys did things for rappers and stuff, but she really, really broke that mold for that
generation.
Let me start back a little bit because everybody's going to say, well, what about Lil Kim? What about MC Lyte and Queen Latifah? Yep. Don't get me wrong. All of them were dope, but there was this lull. Let's be real. There was this drop in female rappers
100%.
Where it was all these female rappers out at the time. You had Foxy Brown, you had Lil Kim, you had Queen Latifah, MC Lyte. I could go on. Remy Ma. You can go on and on and on and on, and then it just kind of crashed. And there was this lull there where where were the female... Like, if you say, like, I would say early to mid 2000s, before Nicki came out.
From Lil Kim to Nicki, there was no one.
There was nobody.
Really?
Exactly.
Fergie
was like the closest we got.
That was terrible.
That was the closest y'all got. So Nicki comes on the scene, and now not only is she holding it down, she's holding it down up against other male rappers that are considered at the top of their fucking game.
Plus, Nicki is a female rapper that guys listen to. Like, there's an unspoken rule that... And I don't necessarily fall to it, but a lot of guys don't fuck with girl rappers.
Right, they won't. Right.
And Nicki, I listened. I didn't buy her album, but I would throw on her songs. Probably not.
You streaming it?
Yeah, I definitely streamed it.
Right.
And same with Meg Thee Stallion too.
Yeah. Oh, of course. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Because of Nicki, we now have the Meg Thee Stallions. We now have Cardi B's. Yep. We now have. There's a few more, and I'm blanking right now. Of course,
Doja Cat.
Oh, Doja Cat. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Doja Cat is probably the closest. Closest that I've seen to a Nicki Minaj like son.
Yeah.
That I have seen from anybody. She can do the voices. She's creative as fuck. But
Rico Nasty too.
But she still does it in her own way.
100%.
She doesn't look like she's jacking Nicki. But you can definitely tell she was taught by Nicki.
That's why I gotta give props to Rico Nasty too, because Rico Nasty doesn't sound like anyone.
That's another one. And Lotto, you can talk about Lotto. I mean, there's all these female, but now you notice how we can just name all these female artists now that we could not name. I would say probably from like 2000 to when did Nicki come out? Like 2009? I think she came out around 2009, 2010 is when she came out.
I remember listening to that.
There was really nobody there.
The remix with her and Gucci Mane on, I forgot what the song name is, but yeah, that's probably like 08, I think. 09,
yeah, when she came out with her mixtape, which I was just listening to. Beam Me Up, Scotty.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. And plus, you're right. All of the girl rappers that we just named should have taken Lauryn Hill's spot.
I feel like I don't know if any of them are ready yet. But I definitely feel like Nicki has earned her stripes at this point. I feel like she's been out long enough to be on that list. Like her first album that she came out with, and I can't think of the name, not the Pink Print, but damn, that one could probably even go on there too. But the first one where she looks like a doll on the cover.
Isn't it like Barbie or something?
I don't give a damn. Yeah. That album should have definitely been in the top 10. No, it was on the list, but it wasn't in the top 10, and I didn't like that.
Could you say that Lauryn Hill might be on there because of her influences? Because to me, hip hop is not the music. Hip hop is the lifestyle, everything. It's graffiti, it's b-boy, it's a bunch of stuff. Rap is the music of hip hop. So could you say that Lauryn Hill at least influenced hip hop culture? Right, but you know what? I mean, screw that, because it's the greatest hip hop albums of all time.
How did she though? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I would say the Fugees
no, you're wrong. Did. The Fugees did.
But Lauryn Hill herself, I don't feel like she's had that much influence. People are gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm dead serious, and I feel like it's something that people are too afraid to talk about. We just accept it.
Yeah,
it's a group think. Like people say, "Oh, that album is so awesome," so we're just gonna accept whatever title that we give it. And I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of people putting it in this category. She's not a rapper. Stop putting her in female rappers list. I don't feel like she's
probably
a female rapper. Like you, okay, so you Missy Elliott. She sings a lot, but she's a
raps.
Rapper.
Yep. She's a rapper that can sing rather than a singer that can rap. Yep.
Thank you. So
no, 100%. Well, the fact that Tupac has the amount of albums that he does and wasn't on there at all. Biggie, I'm fine with being up front.
Which album are you gonna put on there? Like which album?
Tupac's probably All Eyes on Me, or my personal favorite. All Eyes on Me. My personal favorite is 7 Day Theory, Illuminati, Machiavelli. I can play that album from beginning to end without skipping at all. All Eyes on Me though is a more prolific album for Tupac, I would say. And if I'm
just most influential.
It's the most influential. It's probably the most popular. And again, if I'm going strictly off the idea of greatest hip hop albums of all time, not my personal favorite, but that he should be on there. So should Nas. And again, an unpopular opinion here for Nas, It Was Written is a better album than Illmatic. I'm throwing it out there.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you say what you said. But I noticed you did so earlier. You brought up Travis Scott.
Oh yeah.
Being on a list, which I found interesting that they put him on a list, especially right like at 200. But since we're talking about it, we all know what happened with Astroworld. People died. Okay, not good.
In like a weird
way. It really
too.
seemed like it was it for Travis Scott, but apparently Travis Scott is going to be headlining a day in Vegas. One of the days at least. He's one of the headliners. Now, in my head, I was thinking, is this too soon? Is this too soon?
I mean, not only is it too soon, but like the other headliner is, I think it was J. Cole and Kendrick, right? I could be wrong, but I know J. Cole's one of them. And so for those 3 days, and this is kind of what I told you before, it's like relevancy. Like, is it too soon? Because the last thing we heard about Travis Scott is he's a potential devil worshiper where a bunch of people got killed, right? Like, he's just like staring at us.
I heard devil worshiper part. That wasn't the Fox.
But like, yeah, that was on. It was all over.
Fox News.
But like wild shit, and then you're gonna have him headline, and he hasn't come out with an album since then. It's just like the relevancy. J. Cole is always being talked about. Kendrick just dropped a new album. Those two make sense to me. But Travis Scott, the last thing we heard about him was the Astroworld fiasco.
I'm gonna argue with you because you're right in a sense. He has been kept alive through the internet. See, we keep forgetting that the internet is a big, big place. It's a major place. It really is. And it's one of those places where you can literally live your career online. Like, you can have a career with online, like social media, online. Like, honestly, I'll be honest with you, even while Travis Scott was like laying low, I was still seeing people tweeting about him, tweeting about his music, talking about how his music's dope and all this other stuff. So honestly, I feel like it's not even about the relevancy, it's about what the people wanted. And I think that the people wanted it. But again, I was surprised because it seemed like the whole world was shitting on him.
Yeah.
Everybody was, they even did Dr. Phil episodes.
100%.
Like, they had all these different commentators. I mean, you had commentators on like panels and stuff on the news, literally dissecting this whole thing. They had CGI fucking diagrams of the Astroworld layout and stuff, talking about how they really was doing the most. So when I saw that he was headlining, I was really shocked because I
Yeah.
thought he was cooked. I mean, the dude lost all his endorsements. Well, probably not all of them, but he lost a good amount publicly.
Which kind of sucks because, like, let's be honest, he wasn't the one. Like, shouldn't we be talking about security or the people that set up everything? Like, one lapse of judgment, if I'm going to put myself in his shoes and be a performer that's doing this huge festival, I don't know that I could necessarily see commotion going on. Like,
There's a lot of stories with that thing. I
Yeah.
feel like because there was people. Now I wasn't there, so I'm gonna say I can't say for sure. But from what I was hearing, is that he was encouraging this. He was encouraging the raging. He was encouraging like people like getting on top of each other and like fighting and stuff like that. Like he was encouraging this. And I did see a video of it was a security guard, and he was basically cussing out the security guard for trying to do his job.
oh, yeah.
Like he was trying to stop people from getting too crazy, and he was like cussing them out from the stage. Oh, this bitch ass motherfucker, like blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. So I was like, I don't know. So that's why I feel like people were kind of putting it on him. But also, it goes back to what's the bigger story. If I can attach a big name to this story,
Yeah.
because remember at one point they tried to throw Drake in it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
There were the stories that was coming out. They was like, at first it went from Travis Scott
Yeah.
to Travis Scott and Drake.
And
And I
Drake.
was like, well, what did Drake have anything to do with this? They was trying to throw it, but that disappeared quickly
Yep.
because there was no salt to it. It was like, come on now you just kind of like, you're kind of grabbing at straws trying to find this story. But to me, I don't care. Go enjoy Travis Scott. I'm just thinking, like I said, to me, it was just kind of a shocker because I really thought he was going to be on ice for longer than that. But it was
Yeah.
something that my girl brought up that said it was very interesting. She was like, well, his girlfriend is Kylie Jenner. And I was like, that could be part of
Do you
it.
think that hurt him?
No,
Oh,
I think it
helped.
helped him. Think about the clout that the Kardashians have.
Yeah, but they also have a curse.
They had not anymore though. I don't think so. I think that curse is gone now. I think it was at one point, but I feel like now they're
Who do
at
you
this
think broke
level.
Because right now, the
I
only
think with
two
Kim- I
living
think
ones
with
are
Kim-
Kanye and
with-
Pete Davidson.
With Kim dating Kanye, I feel like that's what helped break it and kind of bring them up to a higher level. Kanye really did put her on a higher level.
No,
I
100%.
think. And now that she's with this whole Pete Davidson dude, it's
That
like
guy's my hero, by the way. I love Pete Davidson. Shout out Pete.
he's a weirdo, but like that whole thing, I don't know. I just feel like I feel like it got him some clout. I feel like it helped him.
Probably.
They do have a say. They have major say in Hollywood. They really do. Whether
Definitely
you
got
want to believe
branding
it or
power,
not,
that's for sure.
they do.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's so much as a curse anymore. I feel like they had to fight through that, and they have. Because how many times do you even really hear people even say that anymore? Now it's like, oh my God, the Kardashians. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's
nobody
true.
really says anything bad about them anymore. They really came from like this reality TV level of like, oh, you're just kind of like reality TV people, to like now they're literally like they can walk in a room and shut shit down.
And go crazy. Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, oh,
I'll probably still miss that one day in Vegas.
You'll miss that one day.
Also,
And then
because
who
I
else?
think Travis Scott is kind of overrated. If I'm gonna say another
I never thought
unpopular,
his stuff was that.
I
good.
liked his early stuff, but Travis Scott music sounds like if I was a producer and I took a shit ton of Adderall and I made a great beat, and then I had this great beat and I was like, let me just add one more thing to this. And then more Adderall kicked in. I was like, well, maybe I should just add one. It's so overproduced. It's like, dude, go down to basic. Yeah.
all this
I'm just
reverb.
like, I don't know. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. So, if you are going to a day in Vegas, you'll see Travis Scott, and hopefully people
Be careful.
don't die.
Yeah,
don't
be careful.
die. That's all we're gonna say.
Yeah.
Don't die.
Just don't die.
So I know we're really talking about music. Wow, we really are talking about a lot of music. I don't think this is a
100%.
music podcast. No, we talk about all kinds of stuff. We talk about all kinds of stuff. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. For instance, I'm gonna segue a lot here now. So I don't know. I don't know if you heard about this, but there are rats that are being trained to help earthquake survivors. Think about
Wait,
it.
I feel like that's an. Did they had some animal before doing that? I feel like.
They're using rats. And the reason why they're using rats, though, is because they said that they are,
Smart as fuck.
yeah, they said they're very nimble. They've never set foot on a landmine, and they're agile as hell, and they can eat anything.
You know how
So that's
pissed I'd
why-
be though if I was already like trapped under earthquake shrapnel, and I was like sitting there and I'm like, fuck, who's gonna help me? And the first thing that helped me was a fucking rat
rat.
coming through.
No, I got one better for you though. So the rats, what they do is, this is what's funny. It's kind of cute. They put backpacks on them. They put little backpacks on them, and the backpacks have a microphone, has video gear, and a location tracker. And so that way they can go in and they can kind of.
Do they have a leash, or are they just free roaming rats?
It's not a leash. I guess it's a way, because they're training them to find these people. So however they find them, that part I don't know.
I'd be like pissed at first, then I'd be like, oh, he's cute with a backpack. And then if there's no leash, what's to say that rat doesn't just start gnawing on my face?
Oh, okay, sorry. That's what it is. It's so the microphone, the book bag with the microphone in it, so they can talk back to the people. So basically they're using the rat as a microphone, so to speak.
They're like,
so
my
the
legs are both
up.
broken, and now your rat is gnawing on my face.
Right.
Somebody come in here. Like, get me the fuck out of here now.
Right, so that's basically what it is. Like, the rat shows up, it's got a book bag on, it's got this audio gear, it's got a video camera, and you can talk back to the survivor or the people on the outside, and they can help you. I don't know. I think that's kind of a dope idea if it works.
You know what that reminds me of? Back in the day, random fact here, Attila the Hun used to light flocks of birds on fire and then release them, and the birds would go straight to the enemy and light their whole shit on fire. That's kind of like what they're doing, minus the fire and birds and Attila.
Okay. Oh, that's what it is. So you said, how did they get back?
Yeah.
There's a beep. It's like a beeping sound that they use to
just
train.
train.
They follow it back.
All right.
So again, you can train rats. I didn't know you could train rats this good.
I sort of did. Funny story. I actually had pet rats for a sec.
What is with?
Yeah,
I have to ask. What is? I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
So I was lonely for a sec in my life, and I wanted a pet, but I lived in an apartment. I lived in an apartment, and was like, I can't have a dog, and so I went to PetSmart with my buddy, and he's a shitty person, so I should have like known right off the top that this is not gonna work. And I was like, oh, I'll get a hamster, and I found this like cute ass hamster, and I was about to get him. The PetSmart guy came up to me and goes, I just want to let you know these hamsters can actually be more vicious than people think. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you see that hamster? Now, mind you, this hamster, it was this cute little hamster in this huge fucking cage by himself. It was like a hamster, palace. And he looks at me and goes, that cage used to have 3 hamsters in it. The one that you're holding literally murdered both of the other hamsters. Didn't like eat them or anything, just snuffed them out. So he's like, yeah, they're not very nice. My shitty friend that was with me says, bro, you should get rats. And as I looked over, there was these cute little mice that were rats. And the weird PetSmart guy goes, yeah, man, rats are really good. So I bring these rats home, not realizing that the cute little mice-sized rats were going to grow into Manhattan-style sewer rats. Oh. And I got too afraid of them, so I couldn't handle them because I was afraid. And then I got afraid that they were like wild rats. These rats are smart enough, that's why this is perfect for the earthquake thing. They would open up the cage that I had them in and fucking leave. So I came home one time and the rat cage is open. There's no rats, which means they're in my fucking house somewhere. So I had to make a Lucky Charm Hansel and Gretel style trail of cereal all over my house. I had like 6 trails, all just leading to the cage. Gosh. And then I just sat in a fetal position on my chair all night, falling asleep, waiting for these. Those fuckers ate all the Lucky Charms and then got themselves back into the cage. So you know what?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I actually ended up giving them weed cookies so they would pass out, and then I dropped them in the cage behind the PetSmart in Scottsdale. My mom wanted me to leave them in the desert to get eaten. I was like, nah, we're bringing these back to PetSmart.
But what are they gonna do with it?
Probably feed it to a python. Plus, I gave them a whole weed cookie. Those rats were out.
Oh yeah, those are gonna be shit's hit.
But yeah, shout out to rats.
Right, shout outs to rats. I just learned something. What the hell? How do people think that having a rat is a good idea?
Honestly, it's some weird white people shit.
Like, and I was gonna say that. I was like,
I've never seen a black guy with pet rats. It's
right,
only
like,
greasy
what the
white
fuck?
guys.
I don't understand. Like, and I don't know. They just look.
It's like ferret people. Ferrets. Like if you have a ferret, you're a greasy white person for sure.
Wow, that's a thing too. I know. I heard ferrets are weird. I don't know. They're like long hamsters.
For some reason, I feel like there should really only be 3 pets: cat, dog, fish. And then honestly, like, let's be honest, white people got bored and were like, well, what about these tarantulas and these hamsters and these? I'm like, what? Why are we doing this?
Tarantulas as a pet, I was like, no, get some fucking raid.
Yeah, hate it. It's the worst.
I'm not having it as a pet. there is just all kinds of stuff that I see all the time that I need to just let it out and talk about it. This Elvis movie.
Oh yeah.
We need to talk about this because I'm gonna be honest. As a black man, I'm not a fan of Elvis. I don't see why he needs a movie, especially this kind of movie, because it's a celebratory type movie.
If it's a celebratory movie,
it is a celebratory type movie. I'm going to
right.
tell you that from the jump because I've seen the trailers, I've seen what all about. I'm like, this is totally a happy story about Elvis. I don't agree with it. I hate it. And I feel like if we sit here and we want to shit on other people, we want to shit on the R. Kellys of the world, we want to shit on the the Bill Cosbys of the world, why are we not shitting on Elvis?
Okay, well, for the record, I liked that take right there. However, Elvis Presley basically just stole music and style from black people. R. Kelly and Bill Cosby like pissed on people and then like raped them while they were sleeping. So
Elvis actually did.
He married a 14-year-old, which is gross.
He did rape little girls.
That's true.
He did have sex with little underage girls. Which
not to make it right, but I feel like in that time,
at least Bill Cosby did it with women of age.
Yeah,
but him and R. Kelly and Elvis are in the same boat.
Touche.
Minus the piss.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. He probably was doing some more foul shit.
Weird
probably
stuff.
Spitting in their face.
100%.
But I mean, do you see what I'm saying? I just feel like, and especially now in 2022, why are we making an Elvis movie?
No, that's fair.
Who's asking for this?
And in 2022, we're more educated on what happened. Because I'll just be honest. Again, as a suburban white kid, one of my first tape cassettes, Elvis. Heartbreak Hotel, one of my favorite songs. And
That's all right. Not your fault.
I still fuck with Elvis. He sounds good. But as I got older, you learn that his musical style, most of his music, all that stuff wasn't him. He basically took it from black blues and made it mainstream. Now, I would also, I don't want to say argue, but I feel like in that time of American history, you weren't going to have mainstream people really get behind a black blues guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get that part of it, but that's why I say, why do we need the movie now?
Yeah, we don't.
I feel like they would have got away. They would have got away with it back in the 90s.
100%. And here's the deal. I would disagree. I would say that we can use an Elvis movie. However, it shouldn't be as celebratory as what you're telling me. It needs to tell the whole story.
Yeah, it needs to tell the actual story.
I think I would also argue, and you're probably not going to like this, but Elvis still had some talent. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he was just a talentless fuck. He just is a guy that could sing and dance, and then somebody else was like, do this, this, and this. And it just so happened to be, like, taken from other people. Because he still had a good voice.
That's debatable. I will say, I mean, it was smooth. I'll give him that. It was smooth, I guess. I will say his moves, I mean, he was a showman. I'll give him that. I will say he was a showman.
Yep. He had definitely good stage presence.
He was a stage presence guy, but I definitely is definitely giving me puppet vibes.
Well, no, 100% he was a puppet. And that's what I just told you before we started recording too. It's like, I 100% agree that his music and everything was taken from black artists. I also don't know if I'm going to put the majority of the blame on him. I think he was just a puppet, you know?
Yeah,
but whatever.
I can see what you're saying, but again, I feel like,
but why do we need an Elvis movie right now?
Exactly. That's what it's really boiling down to for me. It's like they're making a big deal out of this too. Oh my gosh! Speaking of movies, okay, so I read this. This literally just hit me, and we have to talk about it. Did you hear about the Joker 2?
I've little bits and pieces, yes.
Did you hear about the idea?
Isn't Joaquin Phoenix going to be the Joker? He's signing back on for the Joker,
But did
right?
you hear about the new theme that they're trying to do for the second one?
No.
So the second one now is supposed to be a musical, and Lady Gaga is going to be in it.
Oh, I heard that Lady Gaga is going to be,
And she's going to be apparently Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this shit like, bro, really?
I didn't hear the musical part. I heard Lady Gaga.
It's
but Lady
supposed
Gaga
to be a musical. I get that, but
yeah.
the Joker movie being a musical? Like, DC, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, we want to see your villains be villains. I don't want to hear this soppy, sad dude story about, oh, he has mental illness and he just so happened to become...
It's getting too PC.
It's getting
They're trying
too
to
deep.
check. They're
It's
trying to
getting
check
too
too many
deep.
boxes too.
Yeah, and it's getting, to me, it's screaming fake deep.
Yep.
Like they're trying to be all super deep. Like the first one, everybody's talking about, oh my God, it was so, that was Oscar trash. That's what it was. It was like Oscar material shit.
Yep.
But we all know that Oscar material shit is usually boring.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Most of the movies that win Oscars are not movies that normal everyday people watch. It's shit that the fucking board loves. It's shit that the people on the Academy watch.
Or if
Like,
everyday people watch it, we watched it one time.
Exactly.
Probably in theaters. You
and
know
it was
what I mean?
like, okay,
Yeah.
that was it. Like I feel like the movies that are actually popular with people don't actually win awards.
Like I watched Dude, Where's My Car maybe 6,000 times when I was from ages 13 to 15, and it definitely didn't get an Oscar.
I feel like there's a lot of movies that should have gotten Oscars that really didn't, but they're gonna do this Joker 2 movie, and I guarantee, and mark my words, I called this out. This is what's gonna happen. If they go through with this idea with Lady Gaga, the musical and all that, they're going for an Oscar. It's not gonna be for the people. It's gonna be this super artsy, creative.
Isn't that a Tony?
work. Huh?
Isn't that a Tony though? If it's a musical, or is Tony out of
Tony, yeah, Tonys are plays and musicals
Okay.
and all that other stuff. But even still, they're going for an Oscar. We all know, you can tell when a movie is going for like that Oscar.
100%.
This is an Oscar movie. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. Because didn't the first Joker, did it either win an Oscar or it was like
I think
nominated?
it was nominated. I don't know if it won. It
Yeah,
might
it was.
have won.
It was
but
nominated, so that's a big deal for a superhero type of movie, so to speak.
I don't think
The
it won
villain.
because I think they were still playing. Because I think, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Heath Ledger won like Best Actor for his
Yeah,
Joker
he did.
performance, and I don't think they're gonna give another Joker something like that.
But I mean, honestly,
Not that that's
why not?
right, but I just think I'm thinking of the pattern.
Yeah, Academy favorites
Academy
and shit. Yeah, they
favorites
do that
and
favorites.
shit,
Which
yes.
honestly, don't you think he won that award because he died? I'm gonna be honest with you.
100%. Just
I don't
like
think he was supposed to win
here's
that.
the other thing. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio
Oh, man,
should
don't
have
get me
had an
started.
Oscar on a
Way
bunch of
time
other
ago.
stuff.
Titanic.
Titanic, a million. What's Eating Gilbert? Like, there's so many.
So many movies.
The one that he won the Oscar for, I don't even think. I mean, it's
It's
like
the most boring
it's
movie
the
he
one-
had.
yeah.
Revenant.
Revenant, yes.
Whatever it is. But that movie, I was not even interested in.
Inception. Like, there's so many. I can't even think.
What was the
of,
one he was doing the stock market?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street should have
he's
totally won an
100%.
Oscar. I just
100%.
kissed the mic. Goddamn.
100%. Shutter Island. I mean, there's so many. And that once that happened, that proved me that like it doesn't matter. It's just like this hip hop thing. It's like it's a group of people that are
Right.
Like,
That are out of touch. They're very
Yes.
out of touch with what people want. And that's why I don't get me wrong, they're nice like to get these awards. They're great. Like I guess they're markers. Like they're kind of like marking points for things that, because sometimes they do get it right. Just like
Yeah.
sometimes they do get the Grammys right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do get the Oscars right. I feel like a lot of times though, they don't.
like
They're just not gonna
like
get it
what
right.
you go into the next thing, BET Awards.
The BET Awards is another thing. So we know like the Grammys.
Yep.
The Grammys are not they're really rigged. I don't know what the Grammys, like what they even be doing anymore, because now it's getting blatantly bad. But let's just skip over. So now we're gonna talk about the BET Awards. I know a lot of people are probably like, oh, BET Awards, like a lot of people don't feel like they hold much significance, but to us black people in the black community, it does. And they have, I will say, they have gotten better with their award shows over the years.
For the
Used to be
record,
trash.
even us white people, especially the ones that love hip hop, BET Awards or something. That's
Nice.
a thing. That's
Love
a
to
thing.
hear it.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So, okay, so the issue that we're having right now is, so if you know who Lil Nas X is, how the fuck do you not, by the way? Huge ass name, hits, albums, tours, he's doing all these things. He's not nominated for not one single BET award. However, his friend that he did a song with, his white friend, Jack Harlow, did get nominated.
For the record, I think that it's okay that Jack Harlow got nominated, but in this scenario, it's weird that Lil Nas X wouldn't. Like, I
That
think
part.
in any other scenario, I know it's black entertainment television, but I think bigger picture, hip hop started out as a black thing. It's now universal, and I think Jack Harlow should be in that conversation. And I don't think BET wants to be excluding. I don't think they've ever taken that stand. They had Eminem on there. They have Beastie Boys.
Not worried about that.
But yeah,
I'm
but
not
in
worried
this
about that,
scenario,
but I
you're
feel
right.
like when it comes to BET and black community, I feel like they will put a white artist on a pedestal, which is totally off brand. than have a gay black artist being represented.
That's probably the bigger
and
picture,
that's the problem and he called it out, and he was basically saying that this is the issue. This is what's wrong. And this is when I'm going to be talking to the black community on this, because this is a horrible thing, and the black community being gay is not okay. Still, by a long shot. Now, I will say, I don't know how it is for the white people. I feel like white people are a little bit more...
Honestly, surprisingly, we're way more open to that.
I was going to say, you guys are more accepting now.
Hate every person for every other thing, but gays were like kind of coming around.
Now, right.
Yeah, now.
And at least it's coming around.
Yeah.
I feel like in the black community, it is not that way at all. Like, you cannot be gay. You can't have an inkling of gayness. Like, and so people try to bring up... what's that dude's name? Tyler, the Creator. They try to bring out Tyler, the Creator, and the singer. I forgot his damn name.
Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean. People try to bring them two up, and they were like, "Oh, well, they've been nominated, they've been represented." But he made a great point. He was like, "I love those guys. Those guys are great." But you gotta admit that when a black gay artist is more feminine and shows more feminine qualities, they get kind of pushed to the side. If you look at Tyler, the Creator, and Frank Ocean, they're still masculine. They're not wearing pink shit. They're not wearing glittery stuff.
Both of them have a little bit, like Frank Ocean probably has his nails painted. But not to interrupt, because I think I want you to continue. But I think Tyler, the Creator, and Frank Ocean also had more hits behind them and more catalog of music.
That shouldn't matter.
But to be accepted, then Lil Nas X, and again, not that it's right, I'm just looking at this. Lil Nas X had basically one hit song and then came out and was like, I'm gay again, fine. But it's like, if he's gonna argue that Tyler, the Creator, and Frank Ocean...
You're talking about a certain moment. You're talking about when he first came out. I'm talking about now. After he's done everything, I'm talking about he's already put out an album. He's getting ready to go. He just launched a world tour. Like, he's going to be going from the United States to overseas. He's doing festivals in the United States and overseas all summer. The dude is in demand. Like, he is a high-profile artist. I know what you're talking about, but you're talking about back when he first came out with Old Town Road. That was before. I feel like now there is no excuse as to why they shouldn't have nominated him for something.
Though? Is he hip hop? Because like Frank Ocean is R&B, but like Tyler, the Creator is 100%.
He doesn't have to be hip hop. It's the BET Awards.
So
it could be R&B. It doesn't matter.
But wasn't the award that he was nominated for?
It's not the BET Hip Hop Awards. They have a separate award show for that.
But what? Oh yeah, you're right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're trying to go down that avenue, that's what I'm saying.
What's the award that Jack Harlow was nominated for?
A BET award. It's just a BET award. That means all genres. It's like any black artist doing their thing in any genre. It doesn't matter. They even give awards to like artists that are from like Africa and things like overseas artists and things like that. It's just an all-encompassing
thing. So it wasn't like best artist. It's just an award.
Right. Okay. But it's like BET Hip Hop Awards. That's different. That's when it's specifically... Now I can see you... I can see your argument if you were trying to say that.
100%. Okay.
In this particular case, I feel like he should have been nominated for something. I don't give a fuck what the category was. He definitely has enough hits and enough clout in the industry to have been nominated. I mean, hell, Industry Baby was on the charts for... how long? That's and true. Still getting bumped? I mean, people are still bumping that song. So the fact that he didn't get nominated, it is a very telling thing. And if you're not gonna see that, I can't help you, because it really is a bad thing. And we need to start admitting that this is an issue in the black community, and we need to start addressing it. And we need to start changing it.
Yeah, like you said, it'd be one thing if he wasn't nominated. It'd be one thing if Jack Harlow was. But the fact that it's happened in the same year, you know what I mean? If like last year Jack Harlow got nominated and then this year Lil Nas X wasn't nominated, it'd still be shitty, but you wouldn't look at it. Now it's like, all right, all on one page. Not only did he not get nominated, but a white guy is winning Black Entertainment.
Who did a song with that artist. Like, who is very well known for doing a song with that artist. So... just as much as that's the one thing you're going to find out about this podcast. See, that's why we're called the middle ground, because we meet in the middle. I'm black, he's white, but we still meet in the middle. I'm not afraid to call out what is going wrong in the black community, but I'm also call out what's going on. The white people fucking up too. So when they fucking up, I'm going to call it out too. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that this is just like, oh, we just one-sided. Hell no. We calling out every fucking body.
100%.
If you doing some foul ass shit, we going to say it most likely. If he don't, I will.
Plus, this is a space, too, where we're going to have some of those conversations that you and I probably couldn't have in public. You know what I mean?
Very true.
And it's like we might be able to say some stuff in this space that we maybe couldn't ask or couldn't say. So
very true. With that said, you just reminded me. So I had a question. I had a question for I guess the white community. So I'm watching this show, and it's whatever it was. I don't even know what the show was, irrelevant. But it was a white woman, and she was talking about this guy that she liked. And she starts describing his features, and she's like, oh, he's this tall and da-da-da. And she goes, he has olive skin and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hold up. What the fuck does that even mean? Like olive skin? Because I'm thinking olives. Like I'm thinking about an olive, and I'm like, okay, you don't look green. You look pretty white to me, and I've never seen a white grape or a clear grape. I'm sorry, olive. I said grape. Wow, olive. So I have to ask you, as a white person, can please explain not only to me but to the people.
No,
like
100%.
What the fuck does that mean? If anybody else is confused by this,
olive, and maybe the lighting is off, and I'm not that tan right now, but like I am tan, okay? So like, listen, yeah, exactly, right? I think the term olive maybe is in reference to black olives, because when a white person describes another white person as having olive skin, that would mean that they're like darker in complexion. Here's how I break up whites, all right? There's two types of whites. There's pink nipple and there's brown nipple whites. There's ethnic whites and there's white whites, all right? Now, I am in a great position because my mom is a white, Swedish and German. My dad, fresh off the boat. His family is Bulgarian and Italian. Dark nipple, Bulgarian and Italian, ethnic white as fuck, German and Swedish, okay?
You talking about actual nipples?
Oh, yeah, actual nipples.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, so you gotta know, so you gotta lift up their shirt.
Well, you don't have to. You can kind of tell. Like, I'm a brown nipple. I'm an ethnic white. But, like, if I go out in the sun...
White. Is that even a word?
Yeah, because, like, here's the deal. Again, there's two types of whites.
We're learning.
Yeah,
We're learning.
the pink nipple and the brown nipple. So, like, and even as a black guy, you'll notice this. If you think of an Irish or English person, okay? Just picture that in your head. White as fuck. Yeah. Go out in the sun, turns red immediately. Now think of a Bulgarian, a Russian, a Romanian, a Greek, an Italian. That's a different type. That's like an ethnic white.
I would not know that they were any of those until they started talking.
You would, and here's why. And white people definitely, well, no, I don't even mean like straight from those. I just mean like by looking at them. And here's, and maybe this is a white and black thing. Great that we have this podcast, because back in the day, so like me as an Italian, back in the day, Italians were looked at as basically the black people of white people. Like, hate to say this, but
they're like in New York. Yeah, I know, like in New York,
Louisiana, there was like
Italy and all that.
Yeah, and one of the biggest lynchings that happened in the U.S., weirdly enough, was against a bunch of Italians. Now, again, not to say that we're not going to go down that path, but all I'm saying is there was a point when the pink nipple whites looked at these fresh off the boats Italian as basically minorities, right? And they would also look at Slavic people, which is like Bulgarian, Serbian, all those guys. There's like a different...
God, white people love racism.
100%.
It seems like that. Like,
but you know what? I think that's more...
It's like, God damn, y'all just fuck them too.
I think it's more... I honestly think it's more human, though. It's more human because when you look... Actually, no. Because I was about to bring up Rwanda, and then if you really know anything about Rwanda, that was white people that fucked that up. Do you know anything about the Rwandan, like... genocide that happened like back in the day? Hotel Rwanda, the movie. So the Tutsis and the Hutus, right? And for the most part, Hutus were a little bit shorter and darker in complexion, and the Tutsis were lighter, fair skin, and taller. That was the only difference. Now, if you know the history, the Hutsis and Tutu, the whatever they are, that's not a tribe. What those groups were was when European colonists went to Rwanda, those white dudes separated the people in the same tribes, all different tribes, and said, all right, you're tall and light, you're now a Tutsi, you're short and black, you're a Hutu, and there was like a class situation. So like literally people from the same family and tribe might have been now in two separate groups, and those two groups now hate each other. So my argument was going to be that humans basically figure out, but yeah, white people did that too.
So the olive thing.
Damn.
Right. Ding, ding.
So olive, long story, she had to bring it back around. Olive skin would be a term that would mean like tall, dark, and handsome. It's like a darker complexion, brown hair, brown eyes.
I guess, but it's like, I don't know. What y'all see as dark is, I guess, different. Cause like, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, I'm dark. You're not dark. You're not dark.
No, but I'm not like that. But if we had like an English person right
What
here
the
and
fuck
someone
does it have to
here-
do with olives?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
That's where I'm getting at. Like, why do we say, why not we? Why do y'all say, oh, he's got olive skin? That's the only thing that's bothering me.
Damn,
Like,
man, I've never even thought of that.
I'm
either.
getting your point, like where you're coming with it, but I feel like there should be another term for that. Like,
No,
olive
definitely.
is not it.
Because you're right. Even if there are 3 different types of whites, the olive doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I'm like, y'all couldn't have used like bread, like a amount of toast on a bread. Like, you got like 2 minutes in versus like 4 minutes in the toaster.
Yeah, because
Like,
here's the deal though, is it's because us white people, we didn't have any other cool names to come up with. Black people, you guys have like great complexion descriptive names.
Thank
a
you.
caramel,
Thank
you know what I mean? Like mahogany. Like what am I gonna say? Pink?
yo, I used to.
White? Like I don't
Speaking
know.
of that, it's funny that you say that because I used to. There's this girl that I used to know back in the day, and she did not. She did not like. She was a white girl actually. And she didn't like white guys, and she was like, "I don't fuck with pink meat." That's what she was saying. And I'm like, damn. Like, I can't even say nothing to that because it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's none of my business. But yeah, so the fact
That's
that you
weird.
said, "What am I pink?"
No,
it made
yeah,
me think of that.
100%.
But yeah, she didn't like the pink.
I
meat.
definitely know a black girl that does not mess with black guys.
I
What-
mean,
What
everybody.
she said, I'm not gonna repeat.
Yeah, don't do that.
on
Don't do
this,
that.
but I'm like, damn, damn.
Well, wait, I mean, I'm kind of interested. I gotta know. What
I mean, there was some eggplant comments coming in, but like she just didn't fuck with it. I think it's weird. I don't know if it's her upbringing, but she's just like does not fuck with black guys at all. And it's not that she's friends with them. She just doesn't want to have sex with them. doesn't
Oh,
wanna do
okay,
that.
okay. I was like, hold on.
No,
Yeah,
she's
some
not like
question for the
fully
bitch, you know
racist,
what I'm
but
saying?
I
she's
also-
not fully racist.
Yeah, 'cause,
she's
like-
about 3/4 racist.
Well, I just think it's weird. Like when people ask me, like I love black girls. I'll just throw it out there. I'm not.
Oh?
I'm not.
y'all listen.
I'm not against white girls. I look at them like.
Right, but you have a preference.
Like Raekwon and Ghostface, it's like the song Ice Cream, okay? I'm never gonna turn down a great cup of vanilla, okay? If somebody hands me a cup of vanilla ice cream, eating it. But if
Nah,
I
you
go
gotta
to
put
a
some toppings on that
buffet,
shit.
ice cream buffet, and they're like, Alec, choose your shit. I'm getting double chocolate with chocolate sprinkles and everything.
Well, okay.
But I think it's weird when people, and it's mostly like white guys, when they find out that I like black girls,
Oh, okay.
they're like weirded out. They're like, really? I didn't know that. Honestly, even black girls, when they find out, oh, you're into, they're like
It is
thrown
weird.
off.
It is weird though because
Why is
generally
that
speaking, white guys are not attracted to anything other than fair-skinned women.
See, I feel like that is not true. I feel like that's what everybody thinks because I have a bunch of friends, but it's like shameful for some reason in the white community, and I don't know why.
And that's another issue.
That's
I
the
feel
other
like
thing.
because of that, which is like
It's dumb. I feel like
Get
there's
over
plenty of
yourselves,
black
but-
or white guys that think black girls are gorgeous. I am just one of the ones that is, since I was a little kid, very vocal about it.
Right. And as long as you're not listening, I ain't got a problem with it as long as you're not turning it into a fetish. What I hate is
No,
when the
100%.
white dudes like they're because of the stigma in their community, they'll like date them on the low or they'll fuck them on the low, but they don't want nobody to know. But then you'll go and you'll proudly date a white girl. Like you'll put that all in front of everybody's face. It's basically like the concept of like when it's they'll fuck black girls, but they'll marry a white woman.
Yeah, see.
You see what I'm saying? Like they'll have like this whole family and everything, but then like secretly they really want, and that's the problem that I have. I'm like, look, you got your preferences and everything, but like what you said, you're not. Preferences doesn't mean like I don't like anything else.
Yeah.
That just means that I like this more than that.
Also, I think it'd be a waste of my genes to not pump out a mixed kid.
Don't say
because
that.
with my
Don't
eyes
s-
and her skin, that kid would take over the world. I'm just saying.
And this is the problem we have. Stop that.
Should be
Stop with this
awesome.
mixed race baby
Should be
shit.
awesome.
Like this is that's starting to become a fetish.
Mixed race babies are?
That is totally becoming a fetish. Like people are like gunning for that now, and it's sad, really.
I
It's
mean,
sad.
I'm not like going for that. I just
know.
think I would make like
This
a
just sounded
gorgeous,
funny.
a gorgeous kid. And there's a part of me too that sort of thinks it would be hilarious because I'm the last Stefanoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I love my grandpa. I'm not going to say which grandpa this was because I love them both.
Okay.
But we'll just say he was not a real Renaissance man. Okay, like he probably wouldn't be pumped if I brought home a black girl.
That's sad.
100%. And I think, it would be kind of hilarious, like once I hit the pearly gates to go and see all my ancestors, and they know that like the Stefanov side is gonna be not some old racist white guy. Instead, it's gonna be like a beautiful mixed kid, and that is all the Stefanovs have on this earth. And I'm just gonna be like, fuck yeah, Blagoy, I got you. I got you.
Well, okay, guys. Well, I feel like that was a great way to end this episode. So,
love it.
With that being said, listen, y'all, we love that y'all listen to us this long. We appreciate it. Hopefully you come back. We'll have more stuff, man. This is our first episode, so we getting warmed up. We definitely got some more good stuff coming down the pike. Be on the lookout for us.
I can't stop thinking about the olive thing now.
Exactly. We
might have to
figure
talk
out the
about that,
olive
yeah.
thing. And
100%.
listen, when we get our pages set up, you can comment on these things. We want y'all to tell us what the fuck y'all think. You can come at us. You can cover our heads if you want to. Please do, because we'll probably discuss it. Maybe.
There's definitely going to be some black girl fetish comments coming at me. I feel like after this last one.
Okay.
I just think they're black queens. You know what I mean?
Well, we will decipher through them. It's okay.
100%.
We will decipher through them. But hey, you know what? With that being said, we don't want to take up any more of y'all's time. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. My name is HL. This is the Middle Ground Podcast with my boy.
I'm Alec.
And we are Audi 5Gs on them. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.